Fundamentals of Meditation by Lucian Green Meditation Teacher Sutra 2 of 4. 11. I prepared to like you. I did this by agreeing with you. First, I read the sentence that you wrote. Second, I thought of whether you agreed with it. Third, I agreed with it. In this way, I prepared to like you by agreeing with you. 12. I prepared to dissolve the licorice. I did this by popping the bubble. First, I found the bubble. Second, I positioned the metal skewer above it. Third, I stabbed the bubble, popping it. In this way, I prepared to dissolve the licorice by popping the bubble. 13. I examined the vag's famousness. I did this by converting famousness into famousness. First, I found the first famousness. Second, I converted it into another famousness. Third, I repeated this for the other famousnesses. In this way, I examined the vag's famousness by converting famousness into famousness. 14. I prepared to connect two heterogeneous ideas. I did this by allowing the left-hand side and right-hand side of my brain communicate, like a conversation of algorithms. First, I wrote sales arguments in pedagogy. Second, I distributed them to points of sale. Third, I mapped the points of sale. In this way, I prepared to connect two heterogeneous ideas by allowing the left-hand side and right-hand side of my brain communicate. 15. I prepared to think of a metaphor for a fascium. I did this by standing as single meditation government leader. First, I collected my like-minded colleagues. Second, I learned how to teach meditation. Third, I stood for election for government. In this way, I prepared to think of a metaphor for a fascium by standing as single meditation government leader. 16. I involved myself with goodnesses. I did this by painting the pictures with text. First, I found the first part of the image. Second, I painted it with text. Third, I repeated this for the rest of the images. In this way, I involved myself with goodnesses by painting the pictures with text. 17. I prepared to think of creative philosophy by thinking of sets of as for managers, education and the theology-specific by thinking of the metaphor for a parakeet. I did this by calling the parakeet to me. First, I called it. Second, I put out my arm. Third, it came to me. In this way, I prepared to think of creative philosophy by calling the parakeet to me. 18. I prepared to say I loved being there. I did this by sanctioning reasonings with as, making philosophy easier to write. First, I wrote the reasonings. Second, I wrote an A for it. Third, I wrote the philosophy. In this way, I prepared to say I loved being there by sanctioning reasonings with as. 19. The positive doctor prepared to do his job. He did this by protecting his heart and brain in conjunction with meditation. First, he protected his heart. Second, he protected his brain. Third, he meditated. In this way, he prepared to do his job by protecting his heart and brain in conjunction with meditation. 20. The robotics man prepared to drink from the flask, which was a metaphor for society. He did this by drinking from the thermos flask, like a robot in a park space. First, he untwisted the lid. Second, he drank from it. Third, he put it down. In this way, the robotics man prepared to drink from the flask by drinking from the thermos flask in the park